Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another video. And today I would like to share my thoughts on Hiro Mashima's appearance at New York City Comic-Con from about 2 weeks ago, where he hosted a panel answering all sorts of questions from the fans. And as someone who is a huge fan of Hiro Mashima, I would dare say he's my favorite manga creator of all time. I've read all 3 of his major series, Rave Master, Fairy Tail, Eden Zero, many of his spin-offs like Monster Soul, Playground, Mashima Heroes, and after reading all the afterwards, I thought I knew quite a bit about the man, but it turns out there's so much I still don't know. Like, I know he's a huge fan of JRPGs, but it's funny to delve into this Twitter thread here and learn the inspiration of the character Jacob from Fairy Tail, which is just fascinating, and now I can't unsee it. But we're going to get to that in this video, of course. I saw this great Twitter thread from Ranma Yasha, who I suppose is a big fan of Rumiko Takahashi, the creator of those 3 series. And it turns out they were at New York City Comic-Con, not only at Hiro Mashima's panel, but at a bunch of panels compiling several threads just explaining what happened for those who didn't go to Comic-Con. Because I don't think there's any video. Maybe some people recorded it, but this is easier just to go through this and read the questions and answers. So I wanted to share this with you guys. So let's take a look at it. So it starts, it's like a fairy tale, starting my New York City Comic-Con 2024 Saturday with spotlight for the manga master who's all the race, Hiro Mashima, counting down to 0 until the panel starts. So there you go. And I do believe they paid reference to the fact that the Fairy Tail anime celebrated its 15-year anniversary, if you can believe that. The manga started in 2006, so that's coming out 2026. We're going to celebrate 20 years of Fairy Tail. That's crazy, man. But here's the crowd. They hosted the panel in the main event stage, but the room's less than half full right now, to the point where they moved everyone up from the general seating in the middle to the front area. So if you're running late and still want to make it, there's plenty of room. All right. The panel is starting, hosted by Crunchyroll's Tim Liu. No photos allowed from this point on, although there are some photos. So what are you talking about? All right. Mashima's translator's son loves Fairy Tail. Tim asked how Mashima is feeling. Mashima, okay. Tim, well, I don't need to translate that. Mashima's message to the audience in English. What's up, guys? My name is Hiro Mashima. My most proud moment is being the author of Fairy Tail. Let's have fun together today. This is Mashima's 3rd time in New York City. Each time has been for Comic-Con. Every time he's come, he's been so happy to see so many Fairy Tail cosplayers. Mashima slept all the way on the plane here. Yeah, believe it or not, Fairy Tail is insanely popular over here. And I do think a lot of creators, Japanese creators, whether it's, manga, video games, anime, etc., are taken aback when they go over to, whether it's Anime Expo in Los Angeles or New York City Comic-Con in New York. I think they are taken aback at how popular it is, but it really is. And, it's a beautiful thing to see. Now, I'm sure Mashima is overwhelmed just seeing all the fans from a completely different part of the world and how it touches them. It touches me. It really does. But, Tim asked Mashima what guild from Fairy Tail he would be in. Mashima says he would be in Blue Pegasus Guild, and Ichiya would be a core member of his team. Yeah, more stuff on Ichiya coming up next. I love this. His favorite character has changed over time, from Happy to Lucy to Urza. Right now, it's Ichiya. Man, can you imagine Ichiya as Mashima's favorite character? I knew for a long time that Lucy was his favorite character because he mentioned that a lot in his afterwards. And, Lucy is best girl, obviously. But it's funny to hear it change, how it was Happy. And I can see Lucy and Urza because of the waifus. And Mashima loves his ladies. But right now, it's Ichiya. That's who we all strive to be. Freaking Ichiya from Blue Pegasus. On creating 100 Years Quest, there was a lot of discussion at the start, and corporate had a say in it. He did not plan to have a Fairy Tail sequel when he ended the manga. It never occurred to him. That's right. Volume 63, the final volume of the original Fairy Tail manga, Mashima mentioned in his afterword that that's it, the story's over, and it kind of has an ambiguous ending that it could continue, which obviously it did a year later with 100 Years Quest. But what happened was Fairy Tail was so popular, And around that time, that's, I think, when they brought back the final season. They had the Alvarez arc to adapt for the anime. And it was so popular, both with the manga and the anime, all the figures, everything, all sorts of merchandise. They said, like, come on, let's keep it going. So what Mashima decided to do, and what he does with 100 Years Quest, is he writes the story, he does storyboards, and Atsuo Ueda is the artist. That way Mashima can work on his other projects, which at one time it was doing Eden Zero, that finished a while ago now. So he's doing Dead Rock now. He does all sorts of things with the games, with the Eden Zero game coming out next year, the Fairy Tail 2 game coming out in December. So Mashima's a very busy man, and he just wanted to end it, but they said, hey, it's popular, bring it back, there's still more story to be told, do it. And Mashima's like, all right, let's keep going. So there's that. On 100 Years Quest, here it is, Mashima does the storyboarding and the story development, and often surprises Ueda with the direction of the story. So yeah, he comes up with all the crazy twists and turns, and he's like, Ueda, draw it! And he just does. The biggest difference between 100 Years Quest and the original series is that it has a separate illustrator, Atsuo Ueda. But because Ueda can just focus on the art, Mashima thinks the end product is spectacular. I have to say, Ueda's art has improved so much from the very first volume of 100 Years Quest to now they're on like volume 18 or 19. And it looks so good. You almost can't even tell the difference anymore. It has to be great from Mashima's perspective too, because he can tell this great story and just hand off the torch to Ueda, who can draw it just as good as Mashima, maybe even better at a certain point. So Mashima won't give any spoilers on how 100 Years Quest will end, not even if they can finish the quest. What does that mean? They have to finish the quest. Mashima's live drawings, they planned for him to draw for 20 to 30 minutes, but he knocked out 2 drawings in like 10 minutes. The man works fast. He really does. That was something he mentioned in one of his afterwords a long time ago, and even on some of his Twitter posts, is that he does like a 4-day work week, and he just bangs it all out so he can have a 3-day weekend and have time with his family, play video games, whatever he likes to do. He's a very fast worker, but let's see some of the drawings here. It looks like there's Moscow from Eden Zero, Plo, the legend himself, the original mascot. There's Happy. That looks like Acnologia, Natsu, Lucy, of course, and Ichiya. Ichiya's there. Oh my god. And there's Natsu. Looks like there's some more. Scrolling down a little bit more. I didn't get a picture of the final version, but Mashima's first drawing was an assemble featuring Happy, Natsu, Lucy, Plu, Ichiya, Moscow. It's Moscow, not Moscow. Moscow. Acnologia and Urza. He drew his second serious illustration of Natsu after that. So here it is again. I guess he's missing Urza from when this person took the picture. But there you go. I mean, for him to bang that out in 10 minutes, I mean, come on. The dude's great. All right, let's see some more. Mashima and Fairy Tail is heavily inspired by Akira Toriyama and Dragon Ball. Of course, pretty much everyone is inspired by Akira Toriyama and Dragon Ball after Dragon Ball was created in the 80s and 90s. Well, created in the 80s, continued through the 90s. Another manga that's influenced him is Bad Boys by Hiroshi Tanaka, which hasn't been licensed in English. I'd never even heard of this. But there, he's influenced by that. Bad Boys. Wow. Because the final punch Natsu landed on Acnologia in the original manga was the last moment in the climax of the last battle, Mashima did everything he could to put all he could into the drawing of the last attack. Look at this drawing, man. Look at the details. This is the end, Acnologia! Wow, that's incredible, man. Fairy Tail is Mashima's favorite of his series because it's really connected him with a worldwide fan base. Wow. I sort of go back and forth myself on Mashima's 3 main series, Rave Master, Fairy Tail, and Eden Zero, but the conclusion I've come across is that Rave Master has the best story from start to finish. Fairy Tail has the best cast of characters and just the overall feel to it, the camaraderie, and the sense of adventure. And then Eden Zero is kind of a mix of both. I have to reread Eden Zero. But my overall thoughts on that is that the first half is amazing. It is so good until it gets to the time skip where it almost feels like Mashima is trying to do too much in a short amount of time. and the ending falls kind of flat, whereas the ending of Rave Master is phenomenal. That's probably the best ending of the entire series, with Fairy Tail, of course. I mean, it ends with the original series, but it still continues in 100 Years Quest. And, you know, I respect Eden Zero for being ambitious as it was, being a space adventure, very different from how Rave Master and Fairy Tail are both fantasy adventure shonen series. What do you guys think? And going back to the cast of characters, like, I feel like, for me, Fairy Tail almost becomes better because it's so long. Like, you know, 63 volumes. It's like over 500 chapters, I think. Over 170 now in 100 Years Quest and still counting. Whereas Rave Master is around 300 or maybe even, yeah, I think it's around 300 chapters, 35 volumes. And the cast of characters there is great. Haru and Ellie, one of the best relationships. I love the two of them. So it's difficult for me to really choose one, but Mashima says Fairy Tail. I guess maybe two because it's the Fairy Tail panel, right? Tim mentions that Miki Yoshikawa, mangaka of Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches, was an assistant to Mashima and had talked about how much he influenced her and how close they were, as well as how much of a game he is, and that they held gaming nights. Yes, Mashima talks about this often in his afterwards on Twitter, on his spaces. He loves video games, and he loves JRPGs. I remember when Final Fantasy VII Remake came out, he got the platinum in that game in like a week. Like, you remember when that game came out in 2020. I don't need to expand any more on that. But he beat the game, got the platinum in like a week. He's a total gaming god. Mashima mostly works with his assistants remotely now because of convenience, but they do try and have FaceTime together, including game nights, to help build rapport among them. Despite his crossover manga, Mashima doesn't think of his manga's worlds as being connected, but thought if he reuses characters between works, he could draw fans of his previous work to the new series. There's all sorts of cameos in all the different stories. You know, Plu, of course, a very important... Plu is basically the Happy of Rave Master, and then Plu appears as Lucy's celestial spirit in Fairy Tail. And then Plu has a bit of a cameo in Eden Zero as well. There's some characters who appear in the background, have the same face as other characters. Like, you'll see Let and Julia occasionally. And there have been the crossovers. There's the Fairy Tail and Rave Master OVA. And there's also Hiro Mashima's Heroes, where the three of them all connect and they go up against, like, another evil version of Jalal. Like, there's Sightheart, Jalal, and Justice. And then there's a fourth Jalal. I forget his name, actually. It's been a while since I read that. Alright. Dead Rock is Mashima trying to do something edgy and try something he's never done before. I still haven't read Dead Rock yet. I was waiting for it to have, like, a volume, but I don't think they've released it in English yet. So I usually like to wait with manga. Instead of reading a chapter each week or each month whenever it releases, I like to read the whole volume. But I've seen the designs of Dead Rock, and I'd definitely like to read it at some point. Looking forward to that. After Mashima finished his Natsu drawing, they moved on to audience Q&A. When asked what games he's playing, he says he's enjoying Overwatch, which he also mentioned in a previous New York City appearance. Reinhardt's his main. He's also playing and is a fan of Monster Hunter. I don't even know what Overwatch is. I think it's a shooter. I don't know, though. You guys are going to have to tell me. Monster Hunter, I know he's a big fan of Monster Hunter. He actually did a Monster Hunter manga back in, like, the mid to late 2000s. On the fate of Romeo and his growth as a character, Mashima says his role in the story will all depend on how popular he is. We haven't really seen Romeo in a while. I mean, he's in the anime at 100 Years Quest right now, but as far as the manga, he hasn't been relevant in forever. I don't know why that was a question. This is a very interesting question, especially if you're caught up with the manga in 100 Years Quest. Master Zero is a character Mashima would have liked to do a little more with. Well, if you're up to date with 100 Years Quest, oh, you know. Considering how much 100 Years Quest has focused on romance, will the couples finally get together? Mashima makes no promises, but he feels that since the main story is concluded, that maybe it's time for some things to come to fruition. Come on, Mashima! In Rave Master and in Eden Zero, the other couples happen, so let the couples happen in Fairy Tail, would you? Come on. What is Kana's ideal partner, her type? Mashima says whoever it is, they're gonna have to get by Gildarts. That's right, Gildarts isn't gonna let his daughter go so easily. Mashima didn't think there was a worldwide audience for his work until he first came to Comic-Con and was amazed, surprised, and moved by the warm reception he received. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier in this video about how a lot of these guys over in Japan, whether it's manga, anime, video games, etc., they have a huge fan base over there, and I think they are surprised when they go to other parts of the world, whether it's, New York or LA, those are usually the big Comic-Cons, or even, I'm sure, in Europe, if they go over there, and seeing fans all over the world. It has to be a really humbling experience. Mashima's favorite villain is Ziggy from Eden Zero. Wow. It's difficult for me to think of a favorite villain in all the series. I really like Lucia from Rave Master. He's an excellent villain. In Fairy Tail, some people will say Zeref, but for me, Hades, man. Hades was such a great villain in Fairy Tail. And especially learning more about him in Fairy Tail Zero from his beginning, his origin. And then with Eden Zero, I mean, Ziggy, of course. There's Draken Joe. I mean, lots of great villains. Mashima's written a lot of great villains over the years. Mashima has never been disappointed by how anything was animated in Fairy Tail. Yeah, I gotta be honest, I think the anime of Fairy Tail is very well done. There's a few things where you could say there's some censorship. I recently talked about that in episode 15 when it came to Selene in Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, that is. The bath scene or whatever, where there was steam covering her up, and it's like, come on, man. And then there's the famous one during the Tartarus arc where Urza was being tortured by Kyoka. In the manga, she's completely naked, whereas in the anime, she's wearing a dress. And I guess they gotta do things like that for restrictions on TV. But yeah, as far as fights and choreography and everything else, I do tend to agree with Mashima there. Urza's armors are hard to draw for Mashima, so every time she's in one, it's a little bit different. He doesn't even remember what he did the last time. Urza does have a lot of different armors, but he doesn't remember? Like, what? Come on, Mashima. Mashima believes that empathy and being receptive to the world around you is the most important thing for an artist. Experiencing the world will enrich your creativity. When world building, Mashima thinks a lot about what the culture of a place would be like if it really existed, but Fairy Tail was easy because of anything needed to happen or exist, there's always magic to explain it. That's right. That's why the power creep and coming up with new ideas in the form of magic always makes sense in Fairy Tail. It doesn't feel forced or like it was just written in at the last minute, which, I mean, you can always change the story, things like that, but it always seems to work in Fairy Tail. This is one of my favorite points right here. Mashima met the English voice actors for Fairy Tail on a previous New York City Comic-Con trip. He was really impressed by Natsu's voice actor, Todd Haberkorn, which Todd Haberkorn on his Twitter brought this up. He saw that and was saying how happy he was to hear Mashima give such high praise for him, because in a lot of cases, I feel like the Japanese creators don't really care about what happens on the worldwide releases, the English dubs and things like that, because they have their audience over there. So it's like, okay, localize it over here so other fans can experience it in their language, because, I'm sure they dub it in Spanish and, other language, whatever is most common in other parts of the world. And to hear that is just incredible, because what happens a lot of times is the Japanese creators will hand select the Japanese voice actors for whatever. I know for a fact Hiro Mashima is very close to Aya Hirono, Lucy's Japanese voice actor. So for him to outright praise Todd Haberkorn and name drop him is just, it's so awesome, because I really do believe Todd Haberkorn is an excellent voice actor, not just as Natsu. That's probably his most famous role. The most amount of time he's voiced a character, number of episodes, years, you name it. He has a number of great roles, but for him to get such high praise from Mashima Sensei, it's like, man, what an excellent thing to say right there. I really love seeing that. Mashima feels whether or not an artist is successful should be defined by themselves. While he feels he's achieved some success, a part of him feels he hasn't really succeeded. It's important that he doesn't say that he wants to do something, but that he is going to do something. Interesting point right there. He feels he's achieved success, but he hasn't really succeeded. I mean, how much more successful could Mashima get? He wants to have a fourth breakthrough series. He's already had 3. He wants to have a 4th. Some creators, they just have their 1 series. Some have 2. Mashima's had 3. He wants to go for 4. I mean, you gotta respect the guy. He's so good. I love Hiro Mashima. Finishing the panel report, Mashima wrote Fairy Tail during a lonely time in his life where he didn't have any friends, which is why friendship was a huge theme in the story. An attendee from the audience said, "I'll be your friend," to which Mashima replied, "Okay." Oh, I love him. But it's so true. You know, time and time again, I see these people who've never watched or read Fairy Tail say, "Fairy Tail sucks, the power of friendship." Ugh. How can you be against the power of friendship? Like, seriously, dude, how can you be against the power of friendship? And learning this, that it was a lonely time in his life, he didn't have any friends, and he writes Fairy Tail to cope with it. I mean, like, that's just great. Like, Fairy Tail is the embodiment of the power of friendship. It's what I think of when I hear the power of friendship. Crazy, man. I love it. On whether Grey will stop using ice magic in favor of his devil-slaying magic, Mashima jokes that his magic is like a login bonus. He's going to try and help him graduate from it. What? Is Grey's magic like a gacha game like Fate Grand Order now? Oh my goodness. Oh, that next part's gonna be great. Wait till you see that. Mashima can't say how 100 Years Quest will end without spoilers, but it will end. Well, obviously it has to end. I mean, come on. But he can't spoil it now. He knows the ending in his head already. Storyboarding is Mashima's favorite part of the production process, and his favorite part of world building is developing magic because it has so much creative potential. Lucy's magic is his favorite. I agree. Lucy's magic is my favorite too. Mashima has no plans to do a new Raid Master manga or anime series since he's enjoying doing his current works, but if the opportunity arises, perhaps. Raid Master doesn't need another manga series. I know people say, oh, it needs a new updated manga. No, the manga, it's part of history. Like, you can see how Mashima's art evolves over time. How, you know, Raid Master, as you get from like volume 25 on to the end, you see how it sort of develops that Fairy Tail feel. Same with Fairy Tail. The Grand Magic Games on to Eden Zero gets a different feel, and then even Eden Zero, about the halfway point on, has a different feel to it. His art has always evolved. So I wouldn't want a Raid Master manga reboot, but I would be all for an anime reboot, because they did an anime of Raid Master years ago in the mid-2000s that only adapted about a third of the manga. It needs a complete series. It's too good of a story to leave unfinished like that. But wait till you get a load of this one. This is just, I found this one fascinating. Ready? Oh, going too fast now. Mashima says the character of Jacob is based on Jason Statham. What? I can't unsee it now. Especially because Jacob is a martial artist. He just punches with his fist. Like, what the hell? Jason Statham. I love it, man. Like, how can you not love that? I think that's just fantastic. Jacob is based off Jason Statham. A fan asked Mashima to put Ichiya, the legend, on the cover of the new Fairy Tail game in a transparent ploy to get him to draw on the cover of his copy. Mashima declines to do so, but says he'll personally make sure to relay that message for the development team of the next Fairy Tail game. Alright, you know what? The next Fairy Tail game is gonna be Ichiya. The Ichiya dating simulator. Let's go! Mashima's interest in the zodiac sign came from Saint Seiya. He's a Taurus, but Taurus in Saint Seiya was not the best. In Fairy Tail, he tried to give Taurus a fighting chance, though it didn't pan out. He wanted to treat the zodiacs who were undeserved in Saint Seiya better. Yeah, I like Taurus. Taurus, you know, he has a fighting chance. He's just like the pervy old bull. But he fights and gets it done. And now that Lucy has the Taurus Stardress form, she really gets it done. If Mashima were to have a power, he would like to have Happy's wings and the ability to fly. Tim jokes he would use it to fly away from the panel. Why would he fly away from the panel? The last question, saved for a Lucy cosplayer, was about the personalities of celestial spirits. Care was to 5 zodiac signs who were treated poorly in Saint Seiya a chance to shine and be unique. But what you see in the manga is just how they ended up being. Mashima didn't base the character and designs of the zodiac celestial spirits based on any preconceived stereotypes or his projection of impressions of them. Okay, let's see. The Lucy cosplayer is a Cancer, but hated Cancer in the manga because he's annoying. Mashima apologizes, but that's how he feels about Cancers. He thinks they're like, I don't really know much about the zodiac sign. All I know is I'm an Aries. The cosplayer apologizes on behalf of cancers for annoying them. After the Q&A, they held a group photo with the audience. As the panel closed, they promoted the new fairy tale illustration book in December, played trailers for 100 Years Quest, and gave out double-sided fairy tale postcards as people walked out the door. So let's take a look at this right here. Photo time. That's Hiro Mashima right there. It's a shame we didn't get a shot of him at the start of the panel. I think that's Tim Liu, the translator from Crunchyroll, or the host or whatever. But that's Mashima with his back turned, I guess, at the end. And this new illustration book, it's been 8 years. I actually own the other 2 fairy tale illustration books. I imported them from Japan, and I have videos on the channel if you're interested. They're called, I forget which one came first, but there's one called Harvest and Fantasia. They're both on my channel if you want to check them out. Beautiful illustrations. Definitely looking forward to seeing this, and if it's going to be a Japanese exclusive or what, but either way, I'll have to import it because I love Hiro Mashima's illustrations. And this is what they gave at the end, the postcard. I love this because on one side, it looks like the very first cover of the original fairy tale manga, as well as the very first cover of the 100 Years Quest manga. So a great little thing to give out. And at the very end, we have the Lucy cosplayer. The Lucy cosplayer who asked the last question. Aw, she's pretty cute. I love that we got a Lucy cosplayer up in there. So lots of great stuff. There she is. I love she even has the guild emblem on her hand. So an excellent panel from Hiro Mashima. I learned so much there. Probably the most interesting things of information I learned was the fact that Jacob is based off Jason Statham, and the fact that Ichiya is currently Mashima's favorite character. That's just crazy. But Ichiya is great. I've really never come across anyone who hates Ichiya. They're indifferent to him, but no one ever says, oh, Ichiya is my favorite character. So the fact that the creator of the series says Ichiya is his favorite character now, when at one point it was Lucy's still my favorite character. I respect it. It's so good. Excellent stuff right there. Great thread from Lum Ranmayasha. Thank you so much for attending and sharing with us, and in turn, me sharing with all you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Peace out.
99.